What's up, y'all? It's Brandon from IZ Gaming, and today I'm starting a new survival series that I'm calling Outward Bound. This is basically a story-driven survival series where my character has become kind of attached to a sort of rebel group against the government that's going on. What I'm starting with is a crashed rover. This rover happens to be full of components because it was stolen from a component shipment. You'll see the components we got right here. Got some steel plates and some various other components there, plus some ice and some ammunition. Sorry got dragged into this, but we're here now. There's a Hoplon-class APC out back with a load of components. Grab it and don't dump it out. You'll need the pods. Rifles are in the seats as usual. Head to these coordinates is an old pre-expansion listing post. Still in use, but it's at least off the beaten path. I'll give more info on Stardust when it's safe. Mike. And this is going to actually lead me to a listening post, which happens to be a good 10 kilometers, a little over 10 kilometers away from my starting position. So, it's time to get this rover back upright, mostly because there's no way I'll be able to survive getting there. So I'm using the usual tilt it over, as well as dig out the surrounding terrain, and eventually I'm able to just drive it on out of there. So now that we're out of there, let's head up top and try to assess the damage. Looks like the side's okay. Okay, come on, get up there. Get up there. I said get. There you go. Okay, so looks like we are missing a turret. That's an easy one, and we have some armor blocks that are deformed, but otherwise nothing major. Too bad we don't have the ammo that was in that turret, but no big deal. This was originally supposed to be a ways away and completely intact, by the way. I just decided that it was more interesting to start with the crashed rover, and that's a bit of an out-of-character thing. I am using a whole lot of mods for weapons as well as decorative blocks, so at this stage right here, I don't actually realize that I don't have conveyor ports on the front and back of the small block, looks like 20mm Vulcan turret. So that's something I kind of figure out later, which is why these things were not connecting up to my conveyor system already. So this is also where I figure out, oh wait, I didn't put any metal grids in there. And I didn't put any in there for a reason. I didn't want to start with any, kind of wanted to make finding cobalt kind of a thing. So at this point, I think it's time to cue a montage. There's a boulder. Just wanted to check this boulder out, see what happened to be in it, and as it turned out, it's cobalt. So about 4 kilometers away from my base, I found a boulder of cobalt, which that's not a huge amount. It's not like a vein of cobalt or anything, but it is enough that I can sort of get started, build some atmospheric craft, at least basic atmospheric craft. Probably nothing insanely extensive, but let's just go ahead and grab that runaway cobalt. Come here. Alright, so with everything all loaded up and ready to go, I'm just going to make a GPS marker for this place. I am borrowing a I'm borrowing a little convention from Split C on this one, which is to name it with the type of resource it happens to be, followed by the distance to my base, since I am going to be using that place as a base for at least some time. So let's go ahead and grab it, rename it. It is 4.05 kilometers away from my base, and I think with that, it's time to cue another montage. Alright, and we are just crossing the ridge. Check this place out. So, this was actually a blueprint I downloaded from the workshop. And it happens to be called Wasteland Outpost. I did modify it. Okay, that just happened. Yeah, time to get some health back. Don't mind the speeding up the healing part of it. Didn't think you guys were interested in that part. Okay, so it turns out that that antenna happens to be off. It is not off in the original blueprint. I turned it off while I was setting this place up. So right now I'm just thinking, oh yeah, that was a sound. That was a sound, and I'm straight up not looking outside because I don't want to jinx it. I do not want my survival kit to be hit. Just let's get that antenna on. Come on, get the antenna on. There we go. And now that the antenna's on, I don't have to worry about a lightning strike just hitting something that's like super important. The antenna I can live without. I can't really do this without my survival kit. And it looks like I just lost that other turret with all the components I put inside. Apparently I'm not meant to have a left turret on this thing. So, alright, so the first thing I'm thinking about right now is I need to get a decoy on this base, because I would rather lose the antenna than my survival kit. I'd rather lose it than a battery. I would much rather lose a decoy than all of the above, because decoys are a lot cheaper. So, let's just grind this out of the way. And grab some steel plates. And maybe not run into tires. There we go. Let's get about 50. And just place them out. Alright, yeah, I kind of need to move this if I'm going to be building in this general direction. Don't want to put my decoy too close to something I really care about. But, well, actually I don't want it anywhere near my survival kit, so probably a good thing I moved it there. Yes, by the way, I'm recording my voice after I recorded this episode. The reason for that is because I find I have problems coming up with the words that I want to say at the time I'm supposed to say it. And then later during editing, I'm looking back and going, wow, I can't believe you just said something that stupid. So this is kind of a new approach that I'm hoping will kind of fix it. So at this point I kind of realize, actually did I realize it yet? No. Right about here, I'm seeing I need a radiocom component. Now, radiocom components, I do not believe can actually be made in the survival kit. I'm pretty sure you actually need to make them in the basic assembler, or at least I thought so when I was playing this. So, what I'm thinking about right now is I need to get a basic assembler up, I need to get a basic refinery up. Let's get this stuff moving. So, this place over here, I specifically built as a landing pad. Like a charging pad for ships that would come here as far as roleplay purposes go. But I also had in mind that it would be, you know, where I was going to set up all my assembler parts. Like, this would be my early game factory area. So let's just grab my basic assembler, and if I can actually search the right word, my basic refinery. Come on. Come on. Any of them. You're not using any of them. There you go. And I actually need to grind out some of these blocks in order to place those. So let's put in the basic assembler. And the base refinery is going to take up 2 blocks actually, so I need to remove this slatted window up here. There we go. And let's grind out this one so that I have access to the cargo of that block. Alright, and at this point, let's add them to build bar, and I'm going to cut back when I'm ready to finish them up. There we go. And that is going to be the basic assembler, base refinery, so let's go ahead and refine up all this scrap we got going on here, and set one radiocom component to be ready to go. I do need some silicon for this, so I believe... No, I'm looking for stone, because I got some stone while I was getting the cobalt. So this is where I'm going to just grab that stone, put it in the refinery, get that processed up. And once again, cobalt is clogging up the works, as it has the habit of doing. So might as well just take it up there. I do need a ramp here anyway, since this is kind of where I'm parking. The other side is a little bit steeper. Don't really want to drive over there. So I don't actually mind putting there, at least for the time being. That is going to be a temporary ramp. So let's get the cobalt started. That should free up my inventory space, which I probably could have just put the cobalt in the other cargo container, but I didn't really think about that at the time. I also keep forgetting that these two are not actually linked. Like, the sides are not linked at all. So yeah, that's a thing. And let's just put that over here. There we go. Alright, so that should give me enough silicon to get a singular radiocom component. Did I grab it? I completely forgot to grab it. Wow. Alright then. There we go. Okay, now let's weld up that decoy. Okay, so all the important functional blocks, relatively safe from lightning, at least for the time being, and then a little extra combat, I guess, help going on there, because they'll be aiming for something else and not the turret right away. Let's go ahead and at least check out this base. So we got a second floor here, and up here we have a little kitchen going on. We got some cargo containers. Check that out. So I did actually put a whole bunch of ammo in here. That 200x ammo is from the original interior turret that was on this blueprint. Nothing in the lockers. Just sort of had that in mind as like personal lockers for whoever would be manning this listening post. Then up here we have I believe this is a 20 millimeter, yeah, 20 millimeter chain gun turret. Which I don't remember if that replaces the vanilla turret or not, but it's a pretty hefty gun. That said, it's not exactly the most advanced thing, the most advanced weapon available to me. I am using a set of modded weapons that has a ridiculously long name, So I got some extra components inside of these weapon, or I should say, component racks. And of course, I have a bed, mostly for role-playing reasons. A little shack over to the side is a bathroom and shower. And I also have some ammo and a data pad over here. Good, you made it. This listening post is well stocked, but they meant it during winter, and that gun's 30 years out of date. Oh, and turns out they started putting GPS trackers on the Hoplons, so they know you're here. Might want to get on that turret thing. For starters, I'm going to need you to get to the moon. Don't make that face I know you're making. You're effing brilliant. You designed the field, yeah. And I just found out that there's one there that they were nice enough to crash. Convenient, huh? And you know how many jump drives are on that thing. If even one survived, that'll make it that much easier for you to get to Stardust. Coordinates will be in the console. I'll send them as soon as I have a lock on it. Good luck. We're counting on you, Mike. So that sort of sets up the first little waypoint of this challenge. Step 1, build a rocket. Step 2, get to the moon. Now there's a couple reasons why I set it up this way. One, because I happen to be running scarce resources, and the moon, or actually any moon, is the next target from any planet. The reason being, you can't find gold or silver on any planet, just on moons. So got a little landing platform up here. I'm probably going to end up using that for its intended purpose. So after the moon, not sure, but that's where I'm going first. So just looking around this little base, trying to think about where I can put a turret. The most obvious place to put it is actually up top here, right next to the other one. So let's go and head up a little bit. There we go. Alright, so I would really like to put one directly opposite the first turret, but there's... I'd have to build out a little bit, and I don't really have the components for scaffolding at the moment, so I gotta make this as quick and dirty as possible. And the best spot I can come up with is right here, sort of kitty corner to it. And that'll just be like a second turret for fire support. It doesn't really expand its firing range all that much. So I'm kind of hoping that by putting a second type of turret, it'll sort of shore up whatever weaknesses happen to be inherent with the first one. Like maybe it's too big a turret, or I should say too heavy a turret for the small aircraft coming by. So I'm going to try to put up a much lighter turret. Just a little like anti-aircraft turret is kind of what I'm thinking. So high rate of fire, not necessarily a lot of damage, although it will be using the 20mm ammo anyway. So let's go ahead and weld this up. And I don't actually get around to completing it. By the way, that's a small showing of the turrets that I have available to me. I have even more block weapons. However, don't think that that's an advantage, because my NPC mod, the OKI or Oki, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, NPC expansion mod, actually requires this mod pack, or I should say this weapon pack, as a prerequisite, which is why I even have it in the first place. So don't think that that's an advantage, because that particular mod pack, or I should say that NPC mod, is made with this pack of modded weapons. In other words, I'm not playing, I don't have an advantage with this. This puts me on a level playing field, assuming I can actually get my hands on the slightly bigger weapons. As is, I've already seen some energy weapons being used by stations. I'm pretty sure all the vehicles flying around have the energy weapons. So, again, this is not me giving myself an advantage in this situation. This is just literally what everybody else in this situation is trying to pull off. Alright, so I'm not entirely sure. So that was it. I was missing girders to put that down, and what I didn't see that I should have is that it changes to the 20mm recoilless rifle turret when I hold up to small grid. So that's why I didn't get any girders this? I guess I should answer a quick question. Like, what happened to my Wasteland Survival series? So, that series was going pretty well for a little bit. The problem is, the second episode I actually recorded, but when I took it to my editing software, I saw that I'd completely lost audio on it. So, no audio, and it wasn't a particularly interesting series. So that's basically a week of work for me that went completely down the drain. So what I tried to do is I tried to film a third episode for it, and at the end of that third episode, what happened is I was trying to figure out what was going on with my refinery. For whatever reason, it wasn't refining, so I hopped into creative mode, started playing around with it. In creative mode, I ended up getting attacked by a drone. I'm in creative mode. I'm actually immortal at that point. So it's not fair for me to destroy the drone using weapons. I have to delete it. I couldn't delete it fast enough, and it ended up destroying my power source. So I could have, I could have probably rebuilt the wind turbine. Like, I could have spawned in the exact materials I would have needed to build it up to the exact point it was before. I could have gone through the trouble of building it up to the way it was before. I could have spawned in the materials to build an actual refinery, because I sort of cheated and placed a recycler from a different mod just to see if it was the mod that was the problem. And that sort of kind of screwed me on that front. But to be totally honest, it just sort of lost momentum for me, and I lost interest in it after that point, because like I've now filmed 2 episodes, and one of them was both boring and unusable. The other was, well, relatively boring, not very fast-paced, and I could really do something a lot more interesting. Plus, I happened to find out, unfortunately, that the progression with the set of mods I had was going to be some combination of too fast, because I happened to find a crash ship from one of the mods I put on there, and that had 2 O2H2 generators full of ice. It had full hydrogen tanks. It was basically a treasure trove of materials for me. But it's also going to be too slow, because giant things like that are my only source of those. So I'd have to kind of farm them, more or less, or I would have had to choose that particular ship is the one I was going to rebuild, and then just go out and find more components from other places. And it didn't really feel like a good progression to me. It didn't really feel very interesting when I actually ended up sitting down and thinking about it. So instead, I took out a lot of the idea of I want salvaging to be the primary way I get things. No. Auto scrap is in here. Salvaging is going to be the way that I get things, or at least things off of enemy grids. But it's not going to be the focus of it anymore. I am going to be mining quite a bit. I am going to build a miner. I am going to go through more or less the standard progression of scarce resources, which is starting on Earth, going to a moon, and at least hitting the different planets until eventually get to the alien planet where you can find uranium. So that's kind of what I'm seeing as the outside of the story end goal, which is to get to the alien planet. But I'm not going to be putting Project Stardust on the alien planet. I do know what Project Stardust is, but that's not where it's going to be. And obviously I'm not going to run it right now. I'm going to put it in there later on. It is another mod, believe it or not. It is a mod, but it's not a mod called Stardust. So don't worry about looking for it. It's a mod that I'm using for a project codenamed Stardust. All that aside, that's going to be some work for me in the future, just getting that done. Here I'm digging a basic, I guess, stone mine, just so I can start getting some stone and refining that up and building the turret. Because right now I'm basically missing stone resources and it's nighttime, so I don't really want to do any exploring right now. So I think this is about where I am going to end up calling the episode. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, want to see more chill gaming content like it, or if you want to see the series as it progresses, you can hit those subscribe and notification buttons down below. Also, if you want to support the channel, please be sure to leave a like. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, and it also tells me that you guys actually enjoyed the video. So, once again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see y'all later.